Now for the main draw method, sprite batch is equal to screen manager dot sprite batch. We need to do sprite batch dot begin, and we need to do. You can either draw strings before we draw the objects or draw strings after. If you want these strings above every single object, you want to draw after. If you want every object above these strings, you draw it before. So I'll draw after. So for int I is equal to 0 is equal to 0. I is less than game objects dot count. I plus plus. Opening and closing curly brackets, and let's do game object sub I dot update, and let's pass a game time, or not update, draw. Sorry about that. Dot draw, and let's pass a game time and sprite batch. Alright, now after the for loop, we do draw strings, and we pass the sprite batch, and we just do sprite batch to end our drawing session. Okay, so hopefully this will run fine. Press F5. Oop, I cannot do float to int. So the int, we need to cast that. So in the enemy.cs, inside the generate enemy static method, we have int y position is equal to, and just cast that as an int. Cast the whole thing as an int, and now press F5. Okay, so now when we play a game, you'll see an enemy spawn, but it will be right on top of our player. Oh, wait. What happened there? Oh, in our main menu screen, let's uncomment the play select. So there's a play select method. We commented out the screen manager.add screen. Just comment that out. Alright, so now when the enemy spawns in 2 seconds, it'll just be right on top of our player. And then die. So our checking collision works. And then another one, die. So that's what I wanted to demonstrate. That the velocity.normalize will not work because it's referring to a property. So, just like the game I worked on, I spent several times trying to get it to work on a property, but I couldn't. So what I did is I deleted this line, I went to the gameplay object, and underneath the update method, I generated a new method called public void normalize velocity. So normalize the velocity, and the field, not the property, so lowercase v dot normalize. So we normalize the velocity, it normalizes the object. So now in that blank line where we deleted that back in enemy, let's just call normalize velocity. Now, the reason we have access to that method is because enemy is a derivative of ship, and ship is a derivative of gameplay object. So it's a public void. So every object that's a derivative of it will have access to the normalized velocity. So now let's press F5 and see what's going on when a new enemy appears in 2 seconds. Now it's slowly going to move towards the player. Now we cannot move the player. I'll save that for next tutorial because I want to keep things short for this one. And it was a very long tutorial last time. And hopefully I cut down the time a bit. And this was a very long class. So we still have some things to do like pausing. We'll get to that later. And movement. Movement we'll do next tutorial. That's all we'll do next tutorial is just get things moving. So it'll be a very quick tutorial. So right now everything works. Our collision works. Our enemies still need to shoot. but our collision works, our play screen works like it should. The enemy shooting will be in the enemy class. But we can see our collision works by when an enemy just goes on our player, it'll die, and the hits left will be 9. Then it will be 8 when this enemy disappears. And then it will be 7. And so that works. And the new enemy timer works. And everything works like it should. So next tutorial we'll just get movement working, and the tutorial after that will get it the ability to shoot. Then we'll do the other screens, and that'll be it for this series. So I hope to see you next time. Well, it turns out I didn't make it any shorter, but second recording was probably good because I ran into some issues in the past tutorial, so hopefully this one will be good. Despite the length, I apologize for the length, so I added another warning at the introduction to this one about the length, and the closing one, it was a very long tutorial in a very big class, but I hope the next few tutorials will be very short. Hopefully under 10 minutes each. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope to see you next time for the movement tutorial.